Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to North Star. Today, in this very first lecture for CPA BEC, we are going to cover the important aspects. We are going to cover the entire syllabus, what is that you need to know, what is the important areas, what are the important areas, and all of it at great length. But before I get started, let me very briefly introduce myself today. My name is M. Irfat. I'm a chartered accountant. I'm a CMA. I'm a CPA. I'm also SEMA UK. In addition, I hold multiple other qualifications in finance and management accounting. I've been training students for over 2 decades now, and I've taught thousands and thousands and thousands of students in my very long teaching career. Today, in the very first session for your CPA, I'm going to take you through the syllabus and a lot other important areas, including how do you navigate and work around the Becker LMS software, and of course, the books. But before I get on to that, let me congratulate you for choosing to start with BEC. Because I'm sure you must be aware that there is a syllabus change in 2024, and this year is going to be the last year for the BEC paper, and the entire paper is going to be discontinued. But that does not mean whatever we are going to learn is going to become irrelevant. Sometimes we study, for two objectives. In fact, in most cases, we study for two objectives. One is that we should pass the exam, and that is a primary objective. And the second is, of course, to gain immense knowledge and understanding of the subject, to enjoy the practical applicability of it in real life situations. Yes, the second aspect is always going to be alive with you because the entire subject has a good real life applicability. But the first one, about passing the exam, that is only till 2023, which means that all of you rather, have to pass this exam in the year 2023 itself. Now, does it look like a challenge, 2023, and we have to pass the BEC exam? Answer is, if you ask me very honestly, I'm not looking at BEC for 2023 alone. I'm looking at least 2 to 3 papers that you should pass in 2023 itself. 2 to 3 papers. If you ask me which are those 2 or 3 papers, in fact, I can very confidently tell you over and over again those 3 papers. And that has to be your auditing and regulation and your business, or BEC, REG, and AUD. So what about FAR? FAR is not going to be going anywhere very far from you. It is more or less always going to remain the same. And I'm not sure if I've gone through the FAR syllabus. It's very huge. All right, so since there is not much changes going to happen in the FAR syllabus, it's fine if you take it in this year or you take it in next year. It is not going to make a difference. And FAR, whether you attend 2023 or 2024, I assure you that I will 100% make you pass in that paper. All right, so leave that on you, on completely on me. Whether 23 or 24, I will make you pass that paper, even though the world around you says that FAR is one of the most difficult papers. Let the world feel that way. Let the world feel odd is one of the most difficult, or BEC, or regulation. Let them feel. We are not going to leave it that way. We are going to go very conceptual, very in-depth, so that we don't, in fact, we never feel it that way at all. So the 3 papers that I would want all of you to target for 2023, BEC, auditing, and regulation. Please prioritize your studies only for this year. You are going to enjoy it for the rest of your life. Just for this year, even if it becomes a struggle, even if it becomes a little of sacrifice, even if it becomes, too much to focus upon, do it. Do it. You are not going to feel disappointed at all, because there's a saying, unknown enemy is better than an unknown friend. So 2023 syllabus, we are aware of it. We know what kind of questions come. We know which areas are important areas, where to focus, where not to focus. We are very much aware. As a faculty, I can micro focus on those areas which are regularly tested in the exam. But the moment 2024 comes, I may not be able to guide you, or for that matter, nobody would be able to guide you that well, because this is going to be new. The exam pattern, the kind of question, the focus area, these are all going to change. And it will take some time for us and for you to settle down with the new syllabus. Primarily for us, because we don't have clarity completely as to which all areas are going to be different, what is the question pattern, and whether it is going to become easier or more complex. One thing is quite certain, it is certainly going to be little more difficult than how it is. At least that is the sense currently that I can understand from the AI CPA communication and from Becker as well. So why not make the best use of 2023? If you have to study 3 hours, go for it. If you have to sacrifice Saturdays and Sundays, do it. Do it. Just some more time. Trust me, just some more time, and you would come out so beautifully by the end of this year. And you will look back and you will appreciate every effort that you have put in this year. So is it worth the sacrifice? What do you think? Is it worth the sacrifice that I am asking for? If you think that yes, you are willing and ready and wanting to commit your time this year, go ahead. Let me know in the comment section. Yes, no, anything. I want you to be aggressive. I want you to be aggressive this year, because we have good amount of time in hand. We have possibilities. I am going to be there all through this journey to help you succeed in this. And I will ensure that I handhold you and make you walk so that you succeed without any doubt whatsoever in your mind. And that assurance, or that commitment, I want from all of you, that yes, I am going to stretch, I am going to struggle, I am going to make it happen. 90% of the work, trust me, 90% of the work, we are going to do it right here in the class. 90% of the efforts we will do right here in the class, and I will demonstrate that 90% of the knowledge transfer will happen right here in the class. But that 90% can become 100% with just 10% additional efforts, if those 10% additional efforts are put immediately along with me. But the moment you delay in that 10% additional efforts, then the entire 90% is going to go down the drain. At least out of that 50% is going to go down the drain, because we are human. We have a timely retention possibility in mind. We cannot retain things unless we have actually sat down and done our work, revised. Unless you constantly revise, retention is not going to be possible. So whatever we are going to do, 90%, if you can put 10% additional efforts, and what is that 10%? Nothing, just revise whatever you have understood once again. Revise multiple times whatever you have understood, so that you are able to retain it for a very long time. How long? Till the date of, how long do you want to retain? Till the date you write the exam, or till the date the results come? How long should you retain them? Till the date you write, or till the date result come? Of course, I want you to remember it till the date result come, but we have to be so sure that till the date of writing the exam, we want to work. We have to be so sure that the very same day, if somebody asks, do you want to donate your BEC book? We should be more than willing to donate our books. That should be the level of confidence. When you come out from the exam hall, you should not have that doubt that, is it going to happen? Have I done it? Will I pass? Should I wait for the result? I don't know. What should I do? Should I go home or should I go to temple? Those questions should not be there at all. So the way we are going to put in efforts, the way we are going to sacrifice, the way we are going to study, there should be no doubt at all in our minds whether we can succeed or not. Like I said, and I would always repeat, 90% of the efforts we are going to put together here in the class itself. I'm not going to leave anything to you that you have to revise, you have to do this, you have to learn, you have to go, watch Becker video and understand on your own. No, all of that, nothing of that sort we are going to do. It's a live interactive class and we are going to work hard right here live in the class itself. All right. So we are going to do that. We are going to solve many questions in the class to demonstrate to you and to make you believe that we have understood the concepts. All right. Once we have understood the concept, it becomes your job to consolidate and retain the concepts. And that is only possible with constant revision. Trust me, there is no other way. There's just no other way than consistent revision. All right, revision and practicing the MCQ question, practicing the simulation. We are going to do all of it in the class, but that's the only commitment or the oath or the, the promise that I want from all of you before I jump into the class. Can I have that? Can I have that promise from all of you that we are going to remain committed from day one and do that from day one? Can I have that pledge? Yes, no. I want that. I want that from day one, because without that, no matter how much I am working hard, it is not going to be possible without your support, without your commitment, without your sacrifices. It is not going to be possible. And I don't want to be alone in this journey. We have committed to be together. We want to work together. We want to sail together. We want to succeed together. We want to enjoy. You can enjoy together with your friends, family, success. Nothing can motivate you better than passing this exam in your first go and going and killing the next one. Nothing motivates better than success itself. And I want this paper success to be a motivation, to be a motivating factor for your very next paper, so that you keep going and the target of finishing 3 papers remains intact for this year. Does it look too much? Trust me, it is not too much. It is not too much. It is just consistent efforts of 2 to 3 hours consistently and stretching little more on Saturdays and Sundays and done. But before I get into this today, I want one additional thing from you in terms of strategy. One simple strategy change that I want. Many times I see that, you are working hard, you are doing amazing, but the day that you start working hard is very poorly planned. I would be starting the class today. We would be continuing, and after 15 days, 20 days, or 1 month, you realize that yes, you have to start studying. You have missed 1 month of revision completely. You have piled a lot of revision work to be done together. And now when you are starting after 1 month, you will suddenly find the entire subject to become difficult for you. It is not difficult if you do it on a daily basis. It's like 1 week I'm not going to eat an entire 1 week food, I'm going to eat it together. Of course, even eating would become difficult. Forget that. 1 week I'm not going to sleep, and I'll sleep the entire 1 week pending things. Together, for the entire 1 week, I'm going to sleep together. Even sleeping would become very painful. Trust me, it will become extremely painful. So when eating can become painful, when sleeping can become painful, studying has never been entertaining, exciting. Go back to your life. Think about it in your early days. Was it exciting in your school days, in your college days? It has not been. It has always been, painful. And if you do it that way, it is going to become all the more painful. Trust me, the way we are going to do, I want to make your entire journey exciting. At least one last time, we are going to study together with excitement and with freshness, with mind, with commitment, with dedication, and with focus. I want at least once, so that you end the chapter of your studies. In case you think that CPA is going to be my last major, learning experience, I want it to be filled with excitement. It should not be painful at all. And that is possible only if you are doing it on a daily basis. Trust me, do it on a daily basis. You will never realize how we sailed through this entire subject. How we sailed. I am not kidding. Trust me, I'm not kidding. You will not realize how we sailed through this entire subject if we do revision regularly. I'm going to mix practical subject with your theory and theory with your practical, so that the classes remain exciting, the learning remains entertaining throughout. Of course, I'll tell you a story, I'll tell you a lot of things to ensure that I keep grabbing your attention. But at the very beginning, let me tell you, if we are having a 2 hours class or 3 hours class, whatsoever be the timing, depending upon how much we are to cover, and what is the content that we are covering. If we are covering a very dry topic, I may wrap the class in less than even 2 hours. If we are covering a very interesting topic, you will never realize how 3 hours happened. But I am going to consume some of your time to engage with you, to ensure that you enjoy the class. Please keep that timing aside, because I have already quantified, or accounted for those time loss in my planning. All right, so don't worry about the 5 minutes, 10 minutes that we engage, we talk, we have fun, because that is something that I would be doing to hold your attention throughout the class. Otherwise, attending something live alone, sitting somewhere in the corner of your office or your home, is challenging. Right? I need to ensure that you are not disappointed sitting alone there. You are excited as if you are watching a live cricket match. If you love cricket, or watching a live football, if you love football, or watching your favorite movie together with your family. The excitement, the journey, the learning experience has to be like that. And I have to keep it like that, so that learning remains exciting throughout. All right. Once again, welcome all of you, and thank you once again for choosing to be part of North Star and putting your trust in me. One thing I can always tell you, that neither North Star nor me at any point in time will disappoint you in this journey. We will ensure, and we will always strive to serve you like never before, and make this journey really exciting for you. Thank you. Thank you once again for being part. And if you have any question, go ahead, ask your question. And then in another 3 minutes, we will get started. Any question, guys? Yes, Anubhav, there is, I think, Monday you can connect to Imran to discuss this. How much time is it going to be taking for study in a day? I think 2 to 3 hours, if you can dedicate on a regular basis, it's going to be really good. Is it required any accounting experience to get into job after CPA in USA? Answer is, if you have an accounting experience, it is always going to be preferred. If you don't have an accounting experience, why not grab some accounting experience? It's going to be useful. Sir, I'm already part of CMA batch, silver batch. If I join CPA, how much time should I split between CPA, CMA study? How much time should you split? I think uh, very difficult for me to tell, but you would need to put at least 1 hour additionally. 1 hour additionally. Any other question? But before I get started, would you mind introducing yourself? Give little information about all of you. Anyone whom I'm seeing for the first time, just let me know. Hi, hi, hi. Just put in the comment section. Hi, hi, hi. If I'm getting to know you for the first time today, or you are getting to know me for the first time today. Don't tell me all others knew me earlier. Is it? Have I suddenly become so popular? Okay. All right. Let me take you through the if you would like to introduce yourself, it will be great. Please introduce yourself. I want all the students to introduce themselves so that we can connect to each other and we can know our fellow colleagues in the class, our fellow friends in the class. So it's my first class. I'm Heck. I'm C Enter. I'm getting back to studies after a long gap. Don't worry, we are going to have fun, and you will never realize if you are getting back after a long time. I will ensure that. Hi sir, this is my first CPA class. I've recently completed both parts of US CMA. Okay, amazing. That's super amazing. Sir, you are already popular, is it? Thank you so much. I don't think so. All right, fine. How about others? Go ahead and introduce yourself. Hello, sir. This is my first class. I've completed LLB recently and looking forward to get into CPA. Okay, that's very nice. So if you have any issues, so I have one lawyer whom I can immediately connect. I'm Tarun from Delhi with 15 years experience in accounts, MCOM. 15 years. Super good. Super good. So exciting. All right. Meanwhile, you can introduce and I will take it forward the class. Hi, sir. It's my first session today. Currently working for Bank of America in Gurgaon. Okay. If you can put your name there, it will be great. All right. So let me take you through the entire module of Becker. How does the Becker module look like? So this is the business or BEC, what we call it. And these are all the section that you have B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, and B6. B6 means syllabus is very small. If you think it has a very big syllabus, I'll take you through far syllabus and you'll be like, oh, I think this is nice. This is nice. For example, can you see it here till F10? Till F10, F means far. So the coding is with the subject coding. So F is far and there are till 10th chapter, the syllabus needs to be covered. All right. And if you look at auditing, also it has 6. All right. And if you look at regulation, it has 8. And if you look at BC, it has 6. Now, I'm sure you would have understood that BC is manageable perfectly, unlike FAR, which has a very vast syllabus, and regulation and auditing. BC has a small syllabus. We can cover them all. All right. Does it have a lot of theory? Answer is we'll go through it. I don't want to scare you. I don't want to scare you. You can go here and schedule your exam so that the system keeps telling you how much to be done and how much more to be covered. System will try to put little pressure on you that you have to buckle up and you have to be a little more consistent. All right. Performance summary will tell you how much percentage of the syllabus you have completed, how much lectures you have watched. Lecture viewing is not mandatory because we are going to do much more at much more length right here in the class. So perfectly fine. Simulation, it is important. Average exam score, it is to be good. Your MCQ score has to be maintained at all times. All right. Course update, study planner, tutorials, AICPA newly released question. This part is very, very important. All right. Once we have done with the entire BC, I want all of you to go back to this and check out these questions. All right. Check out these questions. These are new questions which AICPA has released, but not immediately. I want this to be done once we are done with the entire preparation. Now, before I forget to mention you, when you are solving the MCQ questions, please understand that while you are solving any MCQ questions, you have to ensure that you not just focus on getting a right answer, but also focus on understanding why this answer is right and why other options are not correct. Once you focus on all the 4 options, your clarity, your understanding is going to be really, really good. So my advice would be, do not just focus on getting a right answer. If you have got a wrong answer, perfectly fine, no problem at all. All that you have to do is read why this answer is wrong and why the other option is right, what confusion you had in mind, and where is clarity required in mind. All the 4 options that you see here, these are all the 4 options are issued by AICPA only. So these 4 options are not written by anybody except AICPA. So AICPA wants you to understand why a statement is right or why an option is incorrect. The moment you understand why it is incorrect, trust me, most likely you are not going to go wrong once again in similar question, not just that question, but also in similar question. So before we jump in, I want you to remember this strategy that we are looking at all the 4 options while you are practicing. In class also, most of the question we will look into 4 options, particularly the complex one. The simple ones, okay, but complex questions, we are going to always look into all the 4 options, understand them, why these options are, why a particular option is right, why the other options are wrong. Second thing, when it is a theoretical question, it is important that you read the entire question and you read all the options, particularly when it is a theoretical question. But when it is a practical question where numbers are involved, my advice always would remain simple and constant. Do not look at the options. Go to the question, solve the question, take up your calculator, get the number, and check out if this number is matching with any of the options. Don't do reverse engineering. Look at the answer and try to ascertain how this answer could be a right answer. No, don't look at the option. Look at the question and do your calculation independent of all the options and then try to match. If your calculation and the options given are matching, most likely you have hit the right answer. Most likely. But there is a catch there. If there are 2 possible options or there are 2 possible understanding of a question or 2 possible confusion in a question, most likely there will be one more answer which will match with your incorrect calculation, because AICPA understands that many students may think it to be like this and may choose this as an answer. They understand this. The entire examination they have been understanding this, because it's a data gathering, data analytics, what works at the back end. So they understand through the data crunching what is the student, how is the student understanding, what most students are choosing as a right answer. So through that data analytics, they are getting all these feedbacks. So all the options, you will see that particularly in the practical question, that all the options, through different understanding, you will find different options and all the options will match. All the options will match. In practical question particularly. So you have to be careful that you have understood the questions right. And as long as you have understood it right, most likely you are hitting the right answer. So practice these two things that I want you to know right from the very beginning. But otherwise, don't worry, we are going to solve so many questions in the class that you are going to get familiarized with. Let me take you through each part. So if you look at B1, I just want to take you through so that I tell you that we can cover it up in over 50 to 55 hours of lecture. The entire syllabus will be covered in 50 to 55 hours. If you have to revise the entire thing, you need 50 to 55 hours. Which means, how many days do you need? If you are studying 2 hours per day, along with me, 50 to 55 hours, we are done, and another some more time of revision and practice, you are done. Which means in 2 months' time, we will be done with entire BC. In 2 months' time. How much time should you take to write a BC exam? How much time do you think is good time to write the BC exam? Or when do you think? We are sitting in April now. When do you think will be the best time to write the BC exam? After 2 months or after 3 months? When do you think is going to be the best time? So my advice to you would be, by the time I finish one section, your entire section should be done. Your entire section, all the MCQ, 100% MCQ should be done. 100% simulation should be done by the time I am done. By the time I am done with one topic, 100% of the questions should be done at your end, 100% of the simulation should be done. In simple words, if I am done in 2 months, you should also be done in 2 months. And 1 week after 2 months, you should be ready to write the exam. That is the target. And if you are sticking to that target, I can guarantee you success. Bring a paper, I will write guaranteed success if you are taking it that way. But if you are taking, I will finish the class, then I will sit down, then I will revise, then I need 2 months time, the chance of success will keep reducing. So keep it very simple, that once I have completed, for example, I've completed internal control framework, this topic I am done. You should have done all the 39 questions and the 4 tasks. By the time I finished, the same week, you should be done. Similarly, if we are done with enterprise risk management framework, by the same week, you should be done. Before next topic starts, you should be done with 42 questions and 1 task. 42 questions, how much time will it take? Think about it. How much time should it take? Hardly 1.5 hours. How much time will one task take? It says on an average, it is going to take 10 to 20 minutes. All right. So keep it that way. It is going to be very simple for you. All right. Let me take you through the entire subject. Like I said, I'm going to mix a practical and a theory subject for you so that it remains simple and it remains interesting for you. So internal control framework, keep writing it down in case you want to write. This is a pure theoretical subject. Enterprise risk management framework, again a theoretical subject. Sarbanes-Oxley Act continues, the theory point continues till business processes. So these are the 4 theoretical topics. And mark all these topics, write it, keep writing somewhere. If you don't want to write in detail, just write M1, M2, M3, M4. Right? M1, M2, M3, M4. So from M1, M2, M3, and M4. These 4 topics are very important for your syllabus, for your exam. Very important for your exam. In fact, I want all of you to think that BEC, I want all of you to think one thing, that BEC is a pure theoretical exam. I want you to think like this. I want all of you to think that BEC is a theoretical exam. All right? I want you to think like this. As long as you are thinking BEC is a theoretical exam, you are going to do much, much better than thinking BC is a practical exam and there are some theory. No, I want all of you to think BC is a theoretical exam. All right, fine. So remember M1, M2, M3, M4, this is completely theory, and these 4 chapters are very, very important. So does that mean M5 and M6 are not important? Answer is, if you want to think that way, think for now. Think for now, it's okay. But I want you to focus on the first 4 topics. The next one, capital structure 1, capital structure 2, it is quite a simple topic. We are going to enjoy this. Working capital metrics, working capital part 1, working capital part 2. All these 3 are one topic. All right. Becker has broken because it does not want one topic to become so big that you can't finish in one day. All right. So that's why they keep breaking the topic so that it remains within 30 minutes to 1 hour of lecture. So it is just broken into 3 lectures, but otherwise we will finish together at one go all the 3 lectures, and it is interesting. Financial valuation 1 and 2, these 2 are little theoretical but otherwise interesting, and I will ensure that these remain interesting. Financial decision model 1 and 2 again continues to remain interesting. There is an exam which of course I would expect all of you to write once we have done with part 1, section A and section B. Then there is B3. B3, cost accounting 1, 2, 3, performance management 1 and 2. Leave it on to me. You are going to rock on this section because it's purely practical. It's purely practical. So to summarize, B2 and B3 is a purely practical subject with some very little 10% of it being theory. Operation management. This has a mix of theory and practical, but overall it is more of practical and less of theory. But sir, you said that think BC as a theory subject. Why? Because you said B2 is practical, B3 is practical, B4 is also appearing to be practical. Why do you want it to be theory? Because from these practical questions, practical chapters also, you will find lot of theory questions picked up in the exam, and that should not surprise you. Which means, in addition to understanding concept, it is important that you go line by line with the entire book. All right, because there are a lot of theoretical concepts which are going to be picked in the exam. So you can't just think, oh, I have understood the concept, practical questions I'm able to solve, so let me ignore, I've done it. No, theoretical questions are very, very important. In fact, when you come out from the exam, I will ask you, what do you think BC paper looked like, theory or practical? And you would be like, sir, where was practical? Hardly there was question. 3 chapters you told, for only from those 3 chapters practical question came, rest everything was theory. This is how you are going to come back and tell me. All right. So I want you to be very well aware that this is how the exam paper will look like. So think it is a theory paper, but it is not as detailed as, in terms of syllabus as other paper like auditing. All right, auditing has a lot of theory, regulation has a lot of theory, but these theory are not so dry, not so disappointing. We can very well cover it up. All right, so economic and business cycle measures, market influence and business part 1, part 2, international, this entire thing is theory. All right, so write it down, that entire B5, this was B1, all right, and the entire B5 is theory. Entire B5 is theory, right? Is it important? Answer is yes, this remains important. This remains important. Why it is important? Because it is not very complicated and it is very scoring. When it is not complicated and scoring, why not enjoy that? It's a win-win situation. It's not complicated and it is very scoring. Why not make the best use of it? All right. So this one, and we have one last topic, process management and information technology. Some of you will hate this topic, but we can't do anything. We can't do anything, even though you don't like computers, IT risk, SD, system development, change management, data management. Even if you don't like, you have to study this topic. So at the very beginning, I'm telling you that I'm going to break this chapter into multiple parts, because I'm not going to teach entire section 6 together at one go, because otherwise it's going to become very, very boring. I will pick one of these topics while we are studying practical subjects. All right. So section 5 and section 6, I'm going to mix with other sections like section 2, section 3, and section 4. All right. So that it does not become very, very dry for you. Are these chapters very, very big? Answer is no. These are very small topic. If I tell you the total number of pages, you should be excited. There's just 108 pages. 108 is too much? No, 108 is not too much, because there are a lot of drawing, there are a lot of this, there are a lot of things which you can ignore. Such a big drawing is there. All this we don't have to study. So it may look 108 as very big. Okay, fine. Chalo, I agree 108 can be little bigger. But B5 is not like that. It is some 60 pages or 50 pages. Just 52 pages. Can you see here? It's just 52 pages. Is it too big? I don't think this section is too big. If you say that yes, section 6 is big, okay, chalo, to some extent, yes. But section 5 is not big. 52 pages of content, and boom, we are done. If you look at section 1 also, it's not very, very big. The theoretical part of it is not so much, and it can be covered quite easily. Just 76 pages. In fact, out of 76 pages, financial risk management 1 and 2 is practical, so you don't have to worry about that. The first 4 chapters is what is theoretical that we have to worry about. All right. Now, I will leave it on to you, and I want to understand from you, what do you want me to start with? Do you want me to start with a practical chapter? Do you want me to start with theoretical chapter? What do you want me to start with? I'll leave it on to you. Take up 1 minute and let me know, do you want me to start with a practical topic? Do you want me to start with a theoretical topic? Simple topic, complex topic, easy topic. What do you want me to start with? Practical topic. Okay, fine. Not a problem. I'll start with a practical topic. Okay, fine. Anybody else? Okay, in practical topic, I have taken you through the entire syllabus. Which topic do you think is going to be good? Is it B1, B2, B3, B4, B5? What do you think? Don't worry, each topic is separate in itself and it is not going to confuse you. Each topic is separate in itself and it is never going to confuse you. Leave that on to me. All right. How about B3? We starting with B3 and the costing part of it. How about B3? And we're starting with B3, scoring good marks, getting confident, and done. Because it has just 5 topics in it, and 5 topics, if we are done in just 2 weeks of session, will be done with one full section. Out of 6, 1 done in just no time. Confidence is going to be good, and we can get started. And don't worry, none of the sections are going to overlap. I will take care wherever minimal overlaps are there. I will take care of that. All right. Can we start with B3? Yes. Are we all in together? Yes. So take me through the B3 content once again. I missed to make a note of it. Okay, fine. B3, operations management, cost accounting, and performance management. This is the entire syllabus. All right, fine. Let's get started. Let's enjoy the class today. What's the first topic? Cost accounting. It is just broken into 3 parts, topic 1, topic 2, topic 3. All right, or part 1, part 2, part 3. But Does that mean that it is 3 topics? Cost accounting, 3 topics, such a big topic? Answer is a topic is big, but concept will flow from one topic to the other topic. Now, what are we going to study in cost accounting? Let's go slowly one by one. So, first one, cost object. What is cost object? Cost object basically talks about recording of the cost in a particular cost center. Okay, let me explain this. What are we going to study? Cost object, and then we are going to talk about common cost, product cost, components, lot of concept. Fine. Let's understand this. We are talking about cost here. We are talking about cost. Cost can be divided into 2 parts. One is called the variable. I'm giving you the full idea of the chapter, and then we are going to go inside the topic and read the topics. But first, understand the full topic idea. It is decided into 2 parts. One is the variable cost and one is the fixed cost. This division is on the basis of nature of cost. All right, nature of cost. The variable cost can be divided further into 3 parts. One is the direct material, one is the direct labor, and one is the variable overheads. Fixed cost is basically the fixed cost, which we also call it as fixed overheads. What are overheads? Overheads are basically indirect cost. So indirect costs are called overhead. It can be indirect variable cost, it can be indirect fixed cost. Together they are called indirect cost. Any indirect cost which cannot be directly traceable with the particular cost center or with the particular cost of a product, we call it indirect cost. Then what are these 2 costs? Then these 2 costs are called direct cost. Right? These 2 costs are called direct cost. Direct cost means those costs which are directly associated with manufacturing of a product. We call it direct cost. Then we have indirect cost. Now, the next thing, when we manufacture a product, which are the costs which goes into manufacturing a product? We have both direct cost and indirect cost. In indirect cost, do we include variable cost and fixed cost? Answer is yes, depending upon whether we are following marginal costing or we are following absorption costing. Now, you will suddenly ask me, what is marginal costing? What is absorption costing? What are the technical differences between the two? Let me not go in depth into it at the moment. But the important point that I want you to remember is marginal cost is not used for accounting. It is not used for accounting. Absorption costing is what is used for accounting. All right. Absorption costing is the one which is allowed under US GAAP. All right. Absorption costing is the one which is allowed under US GAAP. Marginal costing is not used for accounting. You may ask me, then marginal costing concepts are used for what? They are used for decision making. They are used for decision making. All right. Fine. Are there other cost concepts like marginal costing, absorption costing, which form part of syllabus? Answer is yes. There are other costing concepts which form part of your syllabus. What are all of these? Let's understand this now. So we have marginal costing, we have absorption costing, we have other costing concept. Yes. For example, let me take you through the fundamentals of costing, because all of these are very much covered in your syllabus. All of these, the entire fundamentals or costing concepts which are covered in your syllabus. All right. The first thing, we are talking about fundamentals or basics of costing. The first thing that we learn is absorption costing. The next thing is marginal costing, right? Or you want to call marginal costing first and absorption costing later. It is perfectly fine. It is not going to change anything for you. Now, these two are covered in your syllabus. Answer is yes. Both of it are very much covered in our syllabus. The next thing that we are going to learn is budgeting. Is budgeting also covered in the syllabus? Answer is yes. Budgeting is also covered. Now, we The first thing in real life, what do we do? The first thing in real life, we do budgeting. All right. And once the budgeting is done, then the manufacturing process starts, and then we ascertain the actual cost of a product using absorption costing. So practically, this is the first thing that we do, and this is the second thing that we do, though I have written in a different sequence. Now, once we have planned and once those plans are into execution, we want to understand how has our plan been for the year or for the period. So we want to analyze where did our plan go right, where did our plan go wrong. This is part of our analysis process where we understand what went good and what did not go good. This we do in our analysis, which we call it as variance analysis. All right, which we call it as variance analysis. Here we understand, okay, we had planned something, all right, and actually something happened, how the planning and the actual have gone, and this entire details are available in analysis. Now understand, when do we do budgeting? Do we do budgeting at the beginning of the period or do we do budgeting at the end of the period? When do we actually do budgeting? So budgeting is done at the beginning of the period. Okay, fine. And entire production cost, actual cost of production, actual results, actual output. When are you going to get all these information? At the beginning of the period or at the end of the period? When do you get all this? So the entire costing details for the year, you are always going to ascertain at the end of the period, right? At the end of the period. So when are you going to analyze if your plan actually went as per plan or something different happened? When are you going to analyze that? So that analysis is also going to happen at the end of the period. So in simple word, when do you do variance analysis? So variance analysis you are going to do at the end of the period. All right. So these are all the basic fundamental costing concepts that we are going to be using in the entire syllabus. Now, if you look at all these, if I want to divide all this in terms of concept, variance analysis is what we are going to learn in topic called standard costing. All right, standard costing. This is basically your post-mortem of what happened between what you had planned and what actually happened. We are going to analyze this. Budgeting, the entire budgeting syllabus is covered in your syllabus, where we budget for, we do sales budget, all right, we do cash budget, we do production budget, all right, we do production budget, we do labor budget. All of these are very much covered in the syllabus, most important being the sales budget and the cash budget. All right, sales budget and the cash budget. Sales budget. Now, can we actually budget sales or do we have to forecast sales? What do you think we have to do? Can we plan that, okay, yeah, my sales will be like this, or do we have to forecast sales? So understand, we can do budgeting for things which are within our control. All right, anything which is not within our control, we can't budget for this. This is not possible. For example, if I know how many units I need to sell, then I can plan how many units I need to produce, because production is within our control. If we know how many units we need to produce, then we can purchase or plan for the raw material that will be required, because again, this is within our control. But sales, is it within our control? Can we plan how much we have to sell? No, it is left in the market. Based on market demand only, we serve the market based on its demand, right? As an individual, it is almost not 100% possible that we can influence sales except through marketing activities. Otherwise, sales is very much controlled by the market itself, by the consumers themselves. So can we budget sales? Answer is no, we don't budget sales. What do we do with sales? We budget or we forecast? What do you want to call it? We budget or we forecast? So we forecast sales. And that is why there is a topic called forecasting techniques. Do you remember there was a topic called forecasting technique, where we will learn how do we forecast future? Because as long as you are able to forecast your sales properly, everything else will fall in place for you. So there is forecasting techniques. Fine. So this is entire part of your budgeting. All of these and lot more you are going to study in budgeting. In absorption costing, we are going to learn how to calculate the cost of product. Now, in cost of product, is it just normal product that we are going to ascertain? Answer is no. There are a lot of other ways that we ascertain cost of product, including process costing. All right, process costing. Do you remember process costing? In case you have studied, good. In case you have not studied, it's okay. It's okay. We are also going to learn a pricing decision. All right, a pricing decision, something basic about, ascertaining price of a product and all of it. But otherwise, broadly understand absorption costing covers this, and budgeting covers all of these, and variance analysis covers this. Then what does marginal costing covers? Marginal costing covers only short-term decision making. It covers short-term decision making. All right. So looks like it is variable costing, but remember it covers only and only short-term decision making. All right. Only and only short-term. So we use marginal costing concept only for decision. What kind of decision? Short-term decisions. All right. So this is broadly your syllabus. All right. Syllabus in this topic looks like a lot, but don't worry. It is not a lot. It is not a lot. Okay, fine. Let's get started with this. Am I going to read line by line? Answer is no. We are going to understand the entire concept overall so that we are able to solve all the questions. All right. So cost object. What are cost object? It is defined as resources. It is defined as resources or activities that serve as the basis for management decisions. So cost objects are basically helping the management decide the consumption of the resources for manufacturing of a product. Sounds complicated? Don't worry. Just remember cost object. It is resources or activities that is used for management decision making. That's all. Do you need to memorize? No, you don't need to memorize. Just keep understanding. Focus of cost objective. The most important focus of cost objective is cost control. That's the most prominent objective of cost object, cost control. Remember, there is something called cost control. There is something called cost reduction. Don't confuse between the two. We are talking about cost control only, not cost reduction here. All right. Now, whenever you see something mentioned in the pass key, ensure that you focus a little more, you pay a little more attention, because this is important and sometimes this may be a confusing area. That's why the book wants to clarify this once again separately with you. A single cost object may have more than one measurement. For example, inventory, product cost for financial statement are usually different from cost reported for tax purposes and from cost reported for accounting purposes. For example, the method of inventory valuation or the method of depreciation for tax may be different, and for accounting may be different, for costing may be different. All right. So a particular cost object can have multiple measurement rules depending upon what is the ultimate objective. Are you doing it for accounting? Are you doing it for taxation? Are you doing it for costing purpose? Possible, 100% possible. Common flow of cost identified by cost. So we have talked about direct material. We have talked about direct labor. Let's go further deeper into this. So direct material. What is direct material? Is it a variable cost? Is it a fixed cost? Keep answering with me. Most of these points you will know it, but let's get deeper, because CPA questions are little deeper into the concept. All right. At the end of this learning, we should be able to solve all the questions. So I want participation from all of you. All right. So direct material is a variable cost. We have direct labor. All right. Direct material, we add direct labor. All right. These two costs together are the most important cost. Because without direct material, direct labor will sit idle. Without direct labor, direct material are going to sit idle and do nothing. It cannot transform itself. That is why they are together called the most important part of the cost. And that's why the name prime cost. All right, prime cost. Who is the most important minister in the Union Cabinet? Health Minister, Finance Minister, or the Prime Minister? Prime Minister is the most important person. That is why the name prime. Similarly, here, these two costs are the most important cost. That is why the name prime cost. Now, with prime cost, we add we add variable overheads. We add variable overheads. This becomes total variable cost. All right, this becomes total variable cost. We add fixed overheads. This becomes total cost. All right, we add fixed overheads. This becomes total cost. Out of this cost, which are the two indirect costs? So these two are indirect cost. Now, all the cost other than direct material, all the cost other than direct material are called conversion cost. All the cost other than direct material are called conversion cost. Conversion cost means cost which are incurred to convert the material, direct material or raw material into finished goods. All the costs which are incurred to convert the raw material into finished goods, we call it conversion cost. In simple word, conversion cost is direct labor plus overheads. Now, when the books write overheads in when you see overheads, I see a very common confusion. So, does this overhead include variable overhead, or does this include fixed overhead, or does it include both? If it was only variable, then question would have or books would have written very specifically direct labor plus variable overhead. But wherever the question says overheads, understand it includes both variable overhead as well as fixed overheads. Comfortable? Very quickly, we have prime cost, direct material, direct labor. Then next conversion cost. It includes all the components of cost except 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 direct material. Those are conversion cost. Now understand life cycle, understand cycle. So we have money, all right? We have money. What do we do with money? We invest this money and purchase raw material. Purchase raw material. All right. This raw material will immediately get converted into finished goods. Answer is no. This will go into the process and will become WIP. Then WIP will further get processed and become finished goods. These finished goods are eventually going to be put in the warehouse and eventually being sold. So this will become sales after adding my profit margin into this, right? And this sales will become my accounts receivable. And this accounts receivable, after subtracting your bad debts and all that, will eventually become cash. Will this cash be more than this cash? Answer is has to be, otherwise my entire process was futile. I could not make money in the entire process. All right. Now, in normal costing, we will always understand that we have produced 100% finished goods. And this is the fundamental presumption that we are always going to carry, that 100% of the goods that we are talking about is complete. But that may not be so, because at the end of the period, when we are closing our books on 31st of December, there may be certain amount of goods which are fully complete. There may be certain amount of goods which are lying with you as WIP, and there is certain amount of goods which are lying with you as raw material. Quite possible. Answer is 100% possible. You don't stop your production. You continue your production even on the last day of the year. So how do you close your books? Question is, from where? What is the importance? What am I trying to say? So all that I'm trying to say is, on the 31st of December, when we are closing the books, we write here by closing stock. We write here by closing stock. This closing stock would include my raw material. So we need to learn how to ascertain the cost of raw material. This closing stock also includes my WIP. So we need to know how to ascertain the cost of WIP, and we also need to ascertain the cost of finished goods. So these three, particularly the WIP, is going to be little more complex for us to learn. It will be complex, but will we learn? Answer is yes. Will we be able to solve all the question? Answer is yes. Leave that on me. All right. So we need to learn how to calculate the value of finished goods. We need to learn how to calculate the value of WIP. Raw material is going to be very simple. Generally, the most simple out of the three. So when I generally say that your cost includes direct material, direct labor, variable overhead, and fixed overhead, which cost am I talking about? Am I talking about raw material, finished goods, WIP? Which cost am I talking about? I'm taking you through all the basics of it. If you know all this, amazing. If you don't know all this, it's perfectly fine. We are learning it. All right. So we are talking about basically computation of cost of our finished goods. Right. What if this remains as WIP? Then how are we going to ascertain? Answer is, if it remains as WIP, it's a very long calculation, very long calculation. All right. And we are going to learn all of those calculation. But for now, just remember, it's going to be a very long calculation. Fine. So in technical terms, here we told cost of production. All right. Cost of production. Fine. So cost of production is also referred to as a product cost. Is also referred to as product cost. Now, here is where confusion comes, because there are two types of cost. One is called product cost, which I have just written here. One is called period cost. One is called period cost. Now, these two distinction is very important. Whatever I'm telling, all these are very important to understand the entire fundamentals of costing. All these will be used in the entire section. All right, this topic, next topic, third topic, all this will be used. So keep focusing, keep listening to it like a story. All right, if you know these facts, good. If you don't know it, amazing. Keep ensuring that you focus here. Now understand, there are two cost. One is called period cost, one is called product cost. Can product cost be part of period cost? Can period cost be part of product cost? Can there be intermixing of it, of concept? Answer is yes, quite possible. How? Understand this. Any cost that we pay, because we are manufacturing, any cost that will increase or decrease because we are producing a product, then those costs necessarily become part of the product cost. For example, if we are producing, will I incur cost for direct material? Yes, no. If we are manufacturing, will I necessarily incur cost? More production, more direct material cost? Answer is yes, quite obvious. So will direct material always be part of my product cost? Answer is yes. Direct material will always be part of my product cost. Now, if I produce more, do I have to pay more and more direct labor? Produce more, I have to pay more direct labor. Produce less, I have to pay less direct labor. Produce nothing, I don't have to pay any direct labor at all. So will direct labor also be part of my product cost? Answer is yes. So both direct material and direct labor are part of my product cost. Okay, fine. Now, if January month passes, or February month passes, do I have to pay direct material because January month has passed? Whether I manufactured anything or I didn't manufacture anything, January has passed, I have to pay direct material. February has passed, I have to pay direct labor. Something like this. Is it like that? Answer is no. And that is why these costs are called a product cost. These are not called a period cost. Now understand what is period cost. Period cost, for example, you have taken a factory on rent. All right. For the month of January, you did not carry out any manufacturing activity at all. No manufacturing activity at all was carried out in the month of January. Now the question is, do you have to pay January month rent? Do you still have to pay January month rent? No manufacturing activity, zero manufacture, zero. No product was manufactured. Do you still have to pay? Answer is yes. Now tell me, this January month rent, does it look like a product cost or does it look like a period cost? Does it look like a product cost or does it look like a period cost? So this is a period cost because this you are paying because of a lapse of time. This is paid because of the passage of a particular period. It has nothing to do with a product directly. All right, it has nothing to do with product directly. Whether you manufacture, you don't manufacture, you will still have to pay period cost. But don't you think this factory is connected to product indirectly? Indirectly, because if you don't have a factory, you may not be able to produce the product peacefully. Yes, answer is yes, there may be a challenge. Where will I produce? Where will the machinery lie? Where will I carry out all these activities? So that will become a challenge. So do I need a factory? Answer is yes. So can I say this factory is a period cost, but indirectly related to production? Indirectly related to production. So meaning is, does production cost include period cost? Answer is yes, it includes period cost. What is a period cost? Any cost that I have to pay because of a lapse of time is a period cost. Any cost that I have to pay because I am manufacturing is a product cost. Can period cost also become product cost? Answer is yes, because the other part of the definition of period product cost is any cost that is included in the cost of production. That is a product cost. Any cost, whether it's direct material, direct labor, or any overheads, variable, fixed overhead, if it is included in cost of production, then it becomes product cost. Comfortable? I hope all of you are clear between product cost and period cost. Comfortable? You will get a question. You will get a question. It looks very simple, but you should be ready for those questions. Comfortable? So we have understood direct material, we have understood direct labor, we have understood factory overhead, work in progress, finished goods, and cost of goods sold. Okay, fine. Let's understand what is cost of goods sold. So we have got direct material, direct labor, all right, direct labor, variable overhead, and fixed overhead. We have got the total cost of production, all right, or cost of goods produced. Cost of goods produced or cost of production, both meaning same. Now, cost of goods produced, suppose we have produced 10,000 units of goods and the total cost is coming, suppose $100,000. This is my total cost of goods that we have produced. Now, in addition, this is the total production. Answer my question, when did I produce this? So if nothing is mentioned, it is always presumed that is produced in the current year. Naturally, it is produced in the current year. Now, from this, suppose I had another 2,000 units I already had. Means this 2,000 units is part of my closing stock or part of my opening stock. What do you think this 2,000 is from? So this 2,000 is part of my opening stock. Now, understand, if nothing is mentioned, then what do I presume? If nothing is mentioned, then I would always presume that if my current cost of producing one unit is $10, my previous year, in the previous year also cost was constant. This is my fundamental presumption in the absence of any other information. So if you see 100,000 divided by 10,000, my current cost of production is $10. If nothing is mentioned, I will presume my last year also it was $10. Otherwise, question has to mention specifically what was the last year cost of production. All right. So here it is going to be 20,000. Now 100,000 plus 20,000, we have got 120,000. Answer my question. In this, is there a profit component included or not included? Is there a profit component included or not included? What do you think? Answer is no, not at all, because it very clearly says this is cost of goods produced. Now, when I add opening stock, what do I call it? This is called cost of goods available for sale. This is called cost of goods available for sale. And if entire goods are going to be sold, then my closing stock will become zero. So this is the amount of goods that I bring to the market for selling. And if entire goods are going to be sold, my closing stock will become zero. All right. Will I sell at 120,000? Of course not. I will add some profit margin and then I will sell. Suppose I want to earn a profit margin of 30,000. Then my cost of goods available for sale is 120,000, 30,000. My total sales value would become 150,000 if I sold entire 120,000 cost of goods. Now, if I have been able to sell 100,000 worth of goods, or let's say 90,000 worth of goods we have been able to sell, all right, then this 90,000 worth of goods is called cost of goods sold. All right, cost of goods sold. All right, so this concept for many of you, this concept may be new for you. Cost of goods available for sale, it's a very simple concept, just that we don't call it like that very often. I want you to learn this concept because we will call it quite often. So cost of goods sold is 90,000, means how much is goods that not been able to sell during the year. We have not been able to sell 30,000 worth of goods. All right, 30,000 worth of goods. So 9,000 units actually looks like we have been able to sell. 3,000 units of goods looks like that we have not been able to sell. All right, we have not been able to sell. All right, comfortable so far? Is it clear? Any doubt? Yes, no? Hello guys, keep talking to me. Have you understood so far? Perfect. So we have got cost of goods available for sale, cost of goods sold, and this. In cost of goods sold, whatever is the 90,000, we'll add our profit margin and that will become our ultimate sales value. Suppose in this 90,000, we added whatever profit margin. For example, 20% on cost. 20% on cost is my profit margin. So 90,000 into 20% means 18,000. Remember, it is 20% on cost. So 90,000 into 20%. So this is 108,000, which is going to be my selling price. Fine. Now here, this 3,000 is entire finished goods. So I didn't have to go through that very long calculation of that we would learn for calculation of WIP. Since entire 3,000 is finished good, my life has become little easy for now. All right. So that is what we have learned. So product cost is not expensed. Not expensed means what? Product cost is not expensed. Understand, when we say use the word expensed, understand, when we use the word expense in simple word, it means that we have not yet debited in our P&L account or in our income statement, trading and P&L account or in our income statement. So it says product cost is not expensed until sold. Means what? Means a product cost is treated as closing stock or treated as current assets till the time it is sold. Means it will not be expense, means it will not be debited. All right. So closing, it will be shown as closing stock. What is closing stock? Closing stock is our current assets. Fine. So remember, a product cost is not expense until it is sold. Because of which principle? Because of matching principle. What is matching principle? I will talk about it a little later. What are the components of product cost? We have direct material, we have direct labor, we have manufacturing overhead applied. What does manufacturing overhead applied means? Understand, I told you in your syllabus, we have absorption costing, we have marginal costing. So in absorption costing, we absorb fixed cost. We absorb fixed cost. All right. We absorb fixed cost. The other word of absorbing is fixed costs are applied to our cost of production. To our cost of production. All right. Fixed costs are absorbed to cost of production, fixed costs are applied, or fixed costs are recovered to cost of production. All right. Fixed costs are recovered to cost of production. So this is what we call fixed costs are applied. Means if we have incurred $10,000 as fixed cost, but out of which we have been able to absorb or recover only $8,000 as fixed cost. Means my cost of production will include which cost? Will it include 10,000 or will it include 8,000? So answer is it will include only and only how much? It will include only and only 8,000 as part of my cost of production. What about the remaining 2,000? What will happen to the remaining 2,000? That you don't have to worry, because it depends upon what was the cause of that under absorption. Was it a normal cause? Was it an abnormal cause? And accordingly, it will be accounted in our costing, profit and loss account. All right, very lot of concept, but don't worry, we are going to understand. Period cost. Period cost, income statement only. Expenses, it is going to be expense. What are the period cost? Basically fixed cost. There are two types of period cost. One, period cost which goes into our cost of production. For example, our factory rent. Our factory rent, this is a period cost which goes into cost of production, which becomes a part of our product cost. There are other types of period cost which does not become part of our product cost or part of our production. What are those period costs? They are selling and administrative expenses, selling general and administrative expenses. Those do not form part of product cost. Marketing expenses, they do not form part of product cost. So there are other types of period costs which do not form part of product cost. All right. So like selling general and administrative expenses, marketing expenses, promotion, advertising, these are all period costs which do not form part of cost of production. They are accounted for in the income statement only. They do not form part of product cost. What are product costs then? Product costs are direct material, direct labor, and factory overheads. What are factory overheads? Basically, indirect costs which are incurred inside the factory, which are related to manufacturing, which are incurred inside the factory, which are related to manufacturing. Those are the costs which are treated as product cost. I hope you remember direct material, direct labor, and variable overhead. I want you to remember the pass key. Cost accounting systems are designed to meet the goal of measuring cost objects. What are those? Those product costing, income determination, and efficiency comparison to standard. We have learned that. We talked about product cost, we talked about period cost, we talked about absorption costing, we have also talked about budgeting, we have also talked about ascertainment or analysis of it, which we are going to learn in standard. So just a quick this is going to be your homework. And since it's the first class today, I'm taking a very short class, and we will be starting from here for tomorrow. All right, we'll be starting from here for tomorrow. All right, so just a first class. I don't want to make the first class really big for you, and want to keep it little small and brief. And tomorrow we are going to cover this up completely and go on to the next one. It is a continuation of it. So topic part 1, part 2, and part 3, all three we are going to run together, so that all three we are going to cover it up. Can we cover all the three in one session? Answer is no. We will not be able to cover. So it's pointless to stretch to cover this today. All right. So today being the first day, I don't want to stretch so much, but going ahead, we are going to continue our learning. Just a small change. Classes are supposed to be at 5, but for some time, just for this month, the classes will be from 4:30 to 6:30, just for a couple of more days, and then we will go back to the 5 timing. All right, 5 to 7, 7:30, and sometimes 8 as well. All right, 5 to 7 is standard, but sometimes some topic demand a little more efforts, a little more timing. So in those cases, we will stretch it till 7:30 or 8 as well. So keep yourself available from 5 to 8, 8 being the maximum that we will stretch. Generally, between 2 to 2.5 hours, we will wrap all our classes. All right, so that's all for you today on the very first day. I hope you are excited, and we will come back tomorrow at the same time, no, just a small change in the time, and we will rock the entire costing paper. First topic, if we are able to do it with a lot of excitement, with a lot of fun, trust me, it will improve your confidence. And don't worry, we will solve a lot of questions just after this 2 hours of lecture to tell you how much we have been able to understand and retain in the class itself. All right, so thank you so much, guys. And in case you need more information about how to access both Becker portal or any status about your books, dispatch, courier, please write to the support team or connect to your counselors. They will help you get all these information. I want all of you to have your books and Becker access at the earliest, because we will be practicing a lot of questions together in the class. Thank you so much for today. I'll see you very soon. And till then, bye-bye. Have a great evening and take care. Thank you so much.